Greetings, customizers. Welcome to the next adventure at Talking Hands Customs. To all my subscribers, thank you very much. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a quick review episode. Got some new 3D printed products from a creator called Scotty's 3D Stuff. They're over on Etsy. Just type in 3D GI Joe if you can't remember the name, and you'll see a bunch of his tanks and APCs with some funky turrets. That's the place. Dive on in and check it out. So without further ado, I ordered a couple of the products for some projects coming up on future episodes. Let's take a look at the first one. Now this certainly blows the regular his turret out of the water, I think. What's been done here is it's 3D printed and it is functional, not like pew pew functional, but it moves. And what you've got is an original Wolverine style turret base, and then the creator's gone ahead and come up with this wicked design for a surface to air missile gun combo turret, almost like the Equalizer, but for a HISS tank. So it comes with these 4 Stinger type missiles. We'll get more into that in a bit. It's got 4 Gatling guns, and again, they've made it so that it looks exactly like the Wolverine Turret. Now, an added bonus is that the creator's gone ahead, and this has actually all been painted, so it got shipped like this, which is fantastic. They were very conscientious in their painting. They got some nice added detail in there, and these Cobra emblems are painted up already. So if you want to just take a regular HISS tank and pop that in there, it fits in no problem. And I'll show you with this retro line HISS. So it does fit in both the retro line and the vintage HISS tanks. And it's quite snug, so you don't have to worry about it being loose and floppy. Missiles kind of come off a little bit, but that's okay. We can fix that. And there you go. I mean, well, let's get that more in frame. It's so big, it's hard to keep it in the camera. There we go. And there it is right there. So you've got a whole new look for your HISS tank. I really love what that does, even with the blue HISS tank. And like I said, the Cobra emblems on there, they're embossed, they're painted by the creator. So it's definitely a viable option if you happen to score a HISS tank for cheap without a turret. Maybe consider ordering one of these. As customizers, though, these Cobra emblems that are on here, they're painted on, and they're painted on because they're raised. So they're actually part of the digital design when it comes out. So they actually stand proud of the surface of the custom. I have another one of his turrets that I'm currently modifying for another project, which I'm not going to spoil here. So you will have to sand those down. Having said that, they did do a phenomenal job in painting it. It looks good. The only thing I might add is maybe a gloss coat or a semi-gloss coat to make it match the sheen of your plastic. But right off the bat, you are so good to go that it's not even funny with this wickedly new HISS tank turret. So let's take a look at some other products. This here is a Stinger replacement missile, and you can get these individually. He sells them as a pack of 4. I would say that these are more as replacement for his other missiles rather than a actual fit on the Stinger missile, because once I can find the slot here, there we go. So you can see in the design that the where they mount onto any sort of rack or launcher is different size and a different style. So this will not actually sit on a Stinger Jeep. I tried it, and all the variants I have, like I have the Rattler, I had the Stinger, the Retro Line Stinger, etc. And it won't fit on that. But with slight modification, I checked, and it might actually fit on a Firebat, which would look dope. And as far as form goes, I think they made some good design choices here in that if you tried to necessarily 3D print these Stinger fins in their original format, they might be a little too thin. So they've actually altered the design a little bit. And I think it works. But just keep in mind that if you wanted to buy a set of these missiles or whatever as a Stinger replacement, that it wouldn't necessarily work. Imagination says that, yeah, you could have different kinds of Stinger missiles on one launcher. Why not? But you'd have to modify the launcher attachment point for it to be a true replacement, okay? But it does fit on all of their turrets that are designed for Stingers. So in case you lose one or whatever, you got replacements. So you're good to go there for that. The other thing is that, what do we got? Oh, yeah. So I can't tell you what the other turret is. I'm not going to tell you that because it's going to spoil what's going to come in another episode. But It was nicely designed, and we'll cover some of its subject material in this next thing. The other thing I find is that you can get this vehicle a lot with a turret missing. That's usually the thing, right? It's held on by 3 tabs that are relatively fragile. So the APC itself can be just fine, much like this one is for the most part, except it's missing a turret. And then getting that original turret can be a pain in the butt. And much like the HISS tank, it's a very simple turret, so it might get boring after a while. Maybe you want to spruce things up a bit, and this certainly allows you to do that. So this is one variant of their available APC turrets. And this is bloody amazing. It sits in there nice. There's plenty of room for it to turn freely. You don't have to apply any pressure. It comes in multiple parts. The barrel was removable. This is a Wolverine style launcher in the side with Wolverine style missiles in it, which I thought was a very nice touch. It's got a couple of antenna on the back, and the designer was also conscientious enough to put even like a gunner's sight in there, and painted it as well, so you can see that silver bit there. So it's got some smoke grenade dischargers, a couple of hatches, a couple of greeblies. The paint match for the APC is actually quite excellent. I think that if you just gloss coated this, it would be damn near bang on, if not 100%. So well done for color choice. And much like the embossed Cobra symbols, it does come with the modern G.I. Joe symbol on there. So if you want to take that off, keep in mind that it is 3-dimensional, and you'll have to be sanding that down very carefully because you don't want to damage any of the other greebly detail that's around there. And very thoughtfully painted. I mean, there's even 4 little bolts here, or rivets, whatever you want to call them, in the corners, and those got a little fleck of black paint on them, which is quite nice. So it works. It works very well. And of course, once you get it on the APC, it's like night and day, right? That simple dome turret with the one gun sticking out of it. This one's called their Bushmaster turret or something like that with Wolverine missiles. I'm going to screw the name up. It doesn't matter. Once you get in the shop, good luck not spending any money is all I'm going to say. So there you have it. If you wanted to repaint this, you absolutely could. And the parts are easy enough to work with. Typical with any other 3D parts, you may or may not get warping. I always put that caveat out there for all the 3D parts I look at. So it's not to say that the quality of the product is low. It's just that you're using 3D printed parts, right? So that's what works in this case. And it's quite an excellent turret. I love the fact that it has the Wolverine style launcher with missiles beside it. It certainly improves the firepower of the APC, and why not? Because it's a bang up job. It's got just enough modernness to it to make it look cool, but it still has that G.I. Joe aesthetic, which I think is a really hard thing to pull off, because after a certain point, I think you're beyond the G.I. Joe look and you're into real life armor, which is not what we're looking for. And this turret nails that perfectly, even using a real life design in the Bushmaster cannon here. So that's the size of that. Really all there is to it. So at the end of the day, I would recommend going to their website and checking it out, keeping in mind that it's probably the safest bet that if you're purchasing their products or any of their replacement products, that it's almost like a self-contained world. So if you buy the Stinger missiles, it's for their turrets. Their HISS turrets and their APC turrets are amazing. There's different variants that if you bought one of each, they wouldn't even look remotely close to each other, and they all look really good and provide a lot of change for any potential custom. Because, I mean, after a while, let's say you do, 5 HISS tanks. It's like, man, I'd really like to do something with the turret. Well, you go to Scotty's 3D stuff, and he's got stuff you can do with the turret. So that's really all there is to it. So I know it's a rather short episode because the third item I'm not going to show you until the next project because I don't want to spoil it. But it looks super cool. But anyway, that's all there is to it. So check it out, Etsy.com, and go to Scotty's 3D stuff. Or like I said, just type in G.I. Joe 3D print or 3D G.I. Joe. And as soon as you see a bunch of HISS tanks and APCs that look absolutely mind-blowing, click on those and you're in the shop. So you're good to go. Anyways, I hope all your projects are going well. And in the meantime, be safe and have fun.